Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stoneman, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about, well, why your crystals might get heavy. And people ask this question, are your crystals heavy? Do they get heavy on you? A lot of you who get crystals from me, you'll notice by the end of the day, they feel great when you take them off. It's like, did it feel great to take them off because they were heavy at the start of the day, or did they feel great to take them off because of something else? And this is actually a very good question, and I understand why people would think the crystals get heavy, and I do have some interesting stories to share as well. Your crystal, when you cleanse and charge them, which I highly recommend you cleanse and charge your crystals daily, they don't get heavy. They shouldn't get heavy. Now, if you have your crystals and you don't cleanse and charge them very often, and almost you have to cleanse and charge them every single day, I highly recommend you don't even wait more than a day to cleanse and charge them, or else you're not gonna get the maximum benefit out of the crystals. But when it comes to crystals and cleansing and charging them, the longer you leave it uncharged and uncleansed, is the more baggage the crystal holds, the more energy that it will feel very heavy. So I like to say this. I made an example to someone yesterday, and I think this is an awesome example. So basically, think of your crystal as a backpack, right? You strap it onto you, it's helping you. It's really helping you. It's the backpack's helping. Now, you're going throughout your day, and the backpack's empty, right? There's nothing in the backpack. Now, after the backpack is empty, let's call negative energy books. So someone hits you with a small book. Maybe you stepped through a small book on the road. Maybe you're just picking up small books from family members, from your partner, whoever. It could be anything. Maybe it's just random traffic throwing you books, right? And books are negative energy. Sometimes the books are small, sometimes the books are big. Now, what does this mean? You're going to be catching the books into your backpack on your back. So as you catch the books into your backpack, you're going to notice the backpack gets heavier. But the thing is, you still have to carry the backpack around with you all day. I hope you guys are following this analogy. When you have the backpack on, it's actually getting heavier. So throughout the day, the backpack's getting heavier and heavier and heavier. Some days you will not feel like the backpack gets that heavy. Some days you'll feel like, oh my God, I have to take this backpack off. Sometimes the backpack will start burning because it's just so full of fiery, dark energy. And it's okay, because if your crystals burn you, it could mean it's fiery, dark energy that was supposed to go to you, supposed to come, basically coming from somewhere, and you're fighting it. Crystals are energy. Energy puts off heat. Then the crystal inside, the energy inside the crystals are going to be constantly fighting for you. That's the wonderful thing, because crystals only work for the light. They only work for goodness. They only help to combat negative energy. You can't do bad with crystals. Spoiler alert. Now, how does this take into account for the backpack? So by the end of the day, you're going to want to take the backpack off, right? The backpack's going to feel super, super heavy. By the time you get home, the backpack's going to be full. And when you take the backpack off, you feel a sense of relief. You feel, oh my God, that was great. That's wonderful. You took the backpack off, and now the backpack is off your back. You're like, oh, thank God, that backpack was really heavy. But what happens if you would have went through your day without the backpack and it didn't start empty? And keep in mind, the cleansing and charging is like putting the backpack on selenite or in the sunlight, depending on how you cleanse and charge it. But I made a video about that yesterday too, and the difference between the sunlight and the selenite, especially for a crystal like black tourmaline. And not all crystals can be charged in the sunlight. When it comes to that heavy backpack, think about it like this. If you weren't wearing the crystals, you didn't have a backpack on, where are the books going? Ooh, good question. So now let's talk about a day that you don't have a backpack on. And the backpack are the crystals, if you don't remember. This analogy is going to be sticking with a bunch of you because it's very different, and I think it's a really awesome one. Now, you go into the world and you don't have the backpack on. What happens? When someone throws you a book, it's going to hit you, but you might not catch it. You might actually catch the book, and regardless, you're going to have to carry the book. You're going to have to carry the book, whether it hit you or whether it didn't hit you. You're still going to have to carry the book. You're going to have to pick it up and carry it. Sometimes you don't have to carry the book, and I know this example is getting a little more complicated. And remember, the book is negative energy, so if you're being hit with negative energy, sometimes you have to bear the negative energy because there's nothing else bearing it. Some negative energy you just kind of drop and discard, and it's not following you. But guess what? You're going throughout your day, and this is how most people without crystals go throughout the day. They don't have an energetic, because these are like backpacks for energy. They don't have an energetic backpack, so it falls on them. Without crystals, I really do say that people, if you don't wear crystals on a regular basis, I flat out have a terminology that you're naked. What does naked mean? It basically means when some kind of energy is thrown at you, it's going into your aura, then it makes its way into your aura through some holes, and then it goes into your etheric body, which is why people have spiritual cleansings, is so you don't constantly absorb evil eye, negative energy, bad energy, etc. So you come up with a mechanism to not absorb negative energy. When you see someone without any crystals on, they're basically naked, unfortunately, unless they're practicing spiritual cleansings. But even then, they have it in their aura until they cleanse it off their aura. If they don't cleanse it off their aura, it's going into their energetic field, into their etheric body, into the spiritual body. That sucks. Basically, it's fully being a soldier in a world where there's a spiritual war going on without any armor. It does put you at a disadvantage. And this is why I highly recommend you guys to wear crystals. It's because when you wear the crystals, you get the maximum benefit out of it. So if you have a crystal at home and you're not wearing the crystal, and you're not, I mean, what's it going to do from home to benefit you? Some crystals actually can protect you from home, such as obsidian. But how is that helping you? It's really not. Now, you actually wear the crystal, it's going to help you. It's your backpack. Now, you guys understand why crystals will feel kind of heavy. It's because the crystals are the backpack, it's the energy, it's protecting you, it's doing a bunch of work. Maybe it's a protection crystal, it'll get extra heavy. Sometimes some people can't deal with black crystals because they get so energetically heavy. Let me tell you a story. My story is when I put on the crowns. I have several crowns in there, and the design will change in the future. There'll be something else in the future, but there's a lot of crystals in my hair. The crowns specifically, they were very light. They're very light in weight, but when I put them on my head for the first time ever, they felt heavy. I mean, I put them on one by one, and I'm like, this is heavy. This is very heavy. I'm like, how am I going to wear this? This is too heavy. And then, because people do ask, your crystals get heavy? No, because I've introduced them one by one, so I'm used to their energies. But the crowns hit very different. Your crown chakra is one of the most important chakras because the rest of your body can't really operate without the crown. You'll just feel completely lost. Now, I put the crowns in, and I'm just like, wait a second, this is heavy. This is too heavy. And then I was just like going throughout my day. I was at the gym. I went home, and I'm like, this is getting really heavy. I don't know if I could bear this crown. It felt like a pressure. And you wonder about kings at the time, and they used to say that a king's crown would get heavy. This is what they meant. Not saying I'm a king or anything like that, but it had a certain weight, and the weight wasn't from it was not from the physical. It was from the spiritual. And it was basically trying to dissolve energies from my past lives, and it was working to open some of my gifts and to keep out the influence of others in my head, which when you go into a room, you're automatically exchanging energy, head energy or crown energy with everyone in the room because you're in the same room. That's just how it happens. So when I put the crown on, it was actually filtering that out. That's one thing that's really awesome about a crown, is it filters out the energy absorbed at the crown chakra. Now, it took about a week or two until it was super heavy. I'm like, I don't know if I can wear this for much longer. I might have to make the crystal smaller. It's overwhelming. And then the feeling just went away. Like after I cleansed and charged it very deeply with sunlight and selenite. Actually, I use sunlight more than the selenite to cleanse and charge it. I recommend you guys do the same for crystals that are able to get cleansed by the sunlight. But I actually felt a lot better. I'm like, oh, this feels lighter. I mean, I can wear it now. If I take a break for a few days of wearing the crown, it'll get heavy again. You guys will notice the same thing with some of your crystals. They'll be heavy until they fully dissolve the blockages that they have to. And remember, to dissolve the blockages that they have to be cleansed and charged. I've even picked up, because I have family members, I've accidentally picked up a bracelet that I thought was not cleansed and charged. I thought the bracelet of a family member was not, I thought it was fully cleansed and charged. I thought it was just a bracelet hanging on the counter that I made, because I make lots of bracelets and lots of necklaces, especially necklaces, because they do help people. But I picked the bracelet up, and it felt so heavy. And not only did it feel heavy, I felt a whole bunch of energy that the bracelet was holding. And I'm like, ugh. And then it was not fun. Don't ever pick up other people's bracelets. Don't let people touch your jewelry, etc. Just cleanse and charge your crystals. They won't be heavy if you cleanse and charge them often. They might be heavy in the first month, 2 months, 3 months you're wearing the crystals, but it actually does get a lot better. It gets lots better. I highly recommend you guys pay attention to the crystals that are actually getting really heavy on you and start studying their energy. Start being like, okay, what crystal am I wearing that it's really weighing on me? A lot of times it'll be a black tourmaline, it'll be a black obsidian. Like I said, the black crystals are much heavier. Sometimes it might be a tiger eye. Maybe you have an issue with grounding. But the thing is, when it comes to these kind of crystals, you document why. First of all, you document the energies of what it does and what it embodies. Now ask yourself, when you read up on the certain crystal that's bothering you, such as a black obsidian, look into the qualities about the crystal. Ask yourself, okay, what is this crystal trying to dissolve on me? And what might this feel heavy? And be honest with yourself. So basically, if you're being your own worst enemy and you're creating a bunch of drama, the obsidian is going to get heavy because it's combating that and it's doing it very fast. So the more energy it has to put off, or the more work it has to do, the fuller it'll get and the heavier it'll get. But this video is very simple. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. You guys have constantly asked, are your crystals do they feel heavy on you? The answer is no. Like I said, if you have any questions, ask in the comments. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!